Small Business Supply Co. is the hub for small business owners to connect and support one another while also being a one-stop shop for their small business supplies. They love the phrase community over competition, just like we do on the podcast, so they wanted to create a space to reflect that. Aside from their supportive small business community, they also have matching poly mailers, thank you cards, washi tape, stickers, envelopes, custom business cards, and more. Their designs are unique to them, and everything is created with an eco-friendly mindset. Yay! They also have a QR code in each package that will pull up their recycling page, giving you instructions on how to properly dispose of each item you receive.
Each item was created with a small business owner in mind, meaning they sell in low, affordable quantities to maximize your profit margins. We all know the struggle of carrying armfuls of packages into the post office, but that is no more. They also sell giant tote bags perfect for carrying your packages in, which means less trips to the car for you. Are you intrigued yet? Head over to their Instagram and TikTok at Small Business Supply Co., spelled Small Business SPLY Co., to shop all of their amazing products and follow their journey. Their business is truly a small business owner's dream.
Cora B. Gallery has been making a name for herself in the South for her colorful and iconic portraits. Her pieces are all designed to not only show off the subject of the painting, but to also bring a beautiful and exciting piece of artwork into your home. Her new portrait series, Icons and Idols, showcases some of the most memorable faces in music. Each original portrait is hand-painted and designed to showcase their most iconic music and images. These paintings have the most famous faces in music, depicting everyone from Louis Armstrong and the Beatles to Billie Eilish and Beyoncé. All of her portraits are also available in 8x8-inch art prints that make the perfect gift for the music lover in your life this Christmas. Use our code CYA15 at corabgallery.com for 15% off your first order. Again, that is code CYA15 at corabgallery.com for 15% off your first order. Hey guys, I'm Katie.
And I'm Alexis, and this is the Check Your Aesthetic podcast. Hello, Kitty.
Hi, my stomach is growling. I'm
Same.
starving. It's literally 4 p.m.
Literally same. Yup, it's 5 here, but still. Literally during the interview, my stomach was like, so if I don't edit that out, I actually wrote down on a sticky note right next to my desk, 2750 Alexis, to edit out my sound of my stomach being like,
literally. And my dog was literally losing her shit. I was like, if you guys notice, so if you're watching the YouTube, you'll see right at the beginning of the interview, I just like exit. My dog, whenever she wants attention, she spills her entire water bowl all over the floor. And I have wood floors, so I said I can't just leave that, so I had to then clean up her mess. And of course now she's sleeping. She's like, good night, I've made a giant mess and now I'm going to bed. I'm like, great, love Perfect. That's awesome. That's dope. That's so cool. But
should we talk about this week's episode or today's episode?
Yes. Today.
Ooh.
Oh God. I'm gonna breeze past that one. Today we had Alex from the Mirror series on, and she is a manifestation coach, which you'll hear more kind of about what all of that means for her specifically in the episode. But we just talked about how important your mindset is as a business owner and just really as a person in general. And she kind of talked about like if you were to work with her, what it would be kind of be like,
how that could help you and that kind of stuff.
So she was definitely, as I always say, every guest sells me on
Makes
their
us
services.
Lose money.
It's really bad. It's so bad. Every single time a guest comes on, I'm like, I need to hire you right now. But anyway, she was super cool, had great energy. And she had a cute dog. So you should keep watching. Just saying. Anyway. Alexis, what have you been up to? Agreed.
Yes. What have I been doing? I don't know. Oh, I went to the gym on Monday. So that
is awesome. I am trying to find a new gym. Currently I'm trying to get back into a routine. My routine's all out of whack currently. So I'm just trying to kind of like get that back on track, in just many facets of life. But yeah, I'm trying to find a gym, that is not the same gym that my literal brother goes to. So Trying to avoid
Yeah,
that at all costs.
probably. Yeah.
And my dad and my other brother as well. No
We love
thanks.
that. No, I feel like I have just been struggling. I mean, I feel like I talk about this literally every episode, so everyone's probably like, we get it. You can't get a schedule together. You suck.
You're a giant
Um,
mess.
It's chaos. It's okay. But no, I feel like I'm getting like taking steps towards it. And I think that honestly, this episode really made me feel a lot better.
I could tell you were like amped up. You were like asking all these questions.
Yeah. Let's go. I don't have to do things every day.
Go. Oh my God.
I love that. But no, I feel like the concept of having like a high energy day, a mid-level energy day, and like a low energy day.
Yeah.
I feel like that helps a lot to just know that like even in like a corporate job, you're not going to go in and be like,
exactly,
like guns a-blazing like every single day. And I think that I get really discouraged with myself when I'm not.
I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, and I might be spreading extremely false information because my source is a random TikTok, but I heard that like, so this, again, this might be a giant lie. So like, please take this with a grain of salt. But apparently, according to this one TikTok that I did not cross-check with any resources, I would like to reiterate, it might not be true, but this TikTok said that, like women have like a 28-day, like hormonal or 21-day hormonal cycle. So whereas men apparently have a 24-hour hormonal cycle. I don't know. Yeah. I definitely feel like women do have a 21-day, but I don't know if men have 24 hours. But regardless, your energy, like, so yours is so spread out. Whereas like it was saying, basically the TikTok was saying that men are like built to be like high energy during the day and low energy at night. Whereas women, it's like literally one day you might be extremely high energy because it's like spanned out so far. So it's like days rather than like one day.
Right. Well, I think that adds on to like, for example, Austin, like he's such a night owl. Like it doesn't even have to be like at 3 p.m. or noon or whatever. Like, I think that men can get very like routine based. And I think that like what I'm discovering is that like, it's almost like my brain is like very routine based, but my body is not. And like, sometimes I just can't do things that I like want to do. And also mental health makes that hard. But yeah, I think just like, you know, letting myself breathe, I think. And I've also been talking to, of course, had to mention her every episode, but Audrey Whalen, every episode we mention. But she and I have been talking about just like, you know, giving yourself the space as like a small business owner and someone also just that works from home and someone that has, I think that a struggle that I have right now is, you know, everything in my life I pretty much make the schedule for. Yeah. And so school, I don't have normal classes, which actually I learned that next quarter that's going to change. So I actually will have 4 times a week, I will have classes. And I think that that's actually going to help me a lot. Yeah. To kind of have more of like a routine. But Eat Smarter is, for the most part, I kind of make my own hours. I have meetings that I have to attend, and like the podcast, I have recordings that I have to attend. But other than that, I can really like do things whenever I want. So I think that setting, like Katie and I are now certain days and times of the week, we are meeting and working on podcast stuff together. I think that like that, and maybe like, you know, I think next quarter when I have classes, I'm hoping that like I can get more into like a structure. But I think that like Audrey was talking a lot about how like you don't really like, you sign up for, when you start a small business, like you sign up for like, you know, being responsible for your own income and like holding inventory if that's something that you need, and like dealing with clients and like advertising and whatever. But something that a lot of people don't think about is having to be responsible for scheduling your own days and like just even the motivation behind that. And I think that that's a big it's a big responsibility. So I think definitely. Like allowing yourself that grace. So
I have something that I want to talk about that matters extremely less, and it is when it's acceptable to decorate for Christmas. Because as we're recording this, it is November 10th. As this is going up, I definitely think the week of Thanksgiving is acceptable. Nobody's arguing that. But it's November 10th right now. All my Christmas stuff is staring me in the face.
in my guest room. It's just staring me in the face and it's looking me in the eyeballs. And I'm thinking to myself, when do I do it? When do I do it? But then, you know, I see these cute pumpkins and I'm like, well, I don't really want to put those up yet. So I would like your thoughts. I would like your thoughts, please.
I think I will probably start decorating slow. That's the thing, is I think like you can't just like go all out and like have everything done. Like, okay, Katie doesn't agree with that. I think
you're telling me you don't turn on a Hallmark Christmas movie and really loud Christmas music?
No, you do
decorate all at once.
No, but that's partly because every single year I add stuff to my collection.
It's kind of a red flag.
What, that I don't do everything at once, or that I add to my collection every year?
No, that you don't do everything at once.
Okay. Well, yeah, I like, because I'll have like multiple boxes, so I'll like bring one box out, do some stuff next day.
Weird behavior.
Whatever.
It's weird.
Okay. Well,
yeah, I don't know.
Actually, I say do what you want.
I would like to do a poll to see if people do it all at once, because for me, it's like an event. Like that's the fun part of it. It's like an event, but also I don't have that much stuff.
Well, when it was at my parents' house, we would do it all in one day. But with my house, it's actually, now that I think about it, because last year, I believe last year or the year before was like the first Christmas that Austin and I had together. And so I was taking Christmas ornaments and stuff from my mom's house, and I never wanted to like, so I would like bring, it wasn't really that like I was doing that on purpose. It was more so like I'd bring a box, unload it, go back to my mom's house a week later.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I guess maybe this year I'll do it all at once. I don't know.
Earlier, my brother was asking me, he was like, do you know anywhere we can cut down Christmas trees here? I was like, we live in Louisiana, so no.
No.
Do you cut down your Christmas tree?
Well, not in my apartment, I'm not allowed to have a real one, but yeah.
You're not allowed? They have rules about that?
Yeah, because you can like cause a fire. But for like a real one, but that's stupid. And it's also because like we have a lot of people in this building. So if the day after Christmas, there would be like hundreds
3,000
of
Christmas trees. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would not work. But yeah, my stepdad goes out and like he has he like works in like forestry. So he like has forest friends that like own
forest friends. That is such a fun
like
phrase.
That own like tree farms and stuff. We have White's Christmas tree is like a pretty popular Christmas tree farm, and Dawn knows the owner, so we would also do that. But then Dawn pretty much was like, no, I want to actually go in the woods and find one, because that one was like a like actual like White's is like a farm that like has them like all laid out and like whatever. But then he was like, I want to go into the forest. Like, okay. We also started growing our own Christmas trees in the back. We also have a pumpkin patch, and there are like hundreds of pumpkins on my front porch at my parents' house. It's really weird. Yeah.
That whole idea is a foreign concept to me, even though I've been to Vermont and I've seen
and my mom's house.
But anyway, I feel like we should, with this Christmas cheer in mind, go ahead and get into this week's episode with Alex. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy.
Also, happy Thanksgiving almost.
Yes, happy almost Thanksgiving. We love you guys and enjoy the episode.
Hi, Alex. Thank you so much for coming on as a guest today.
Hey guys, I'm so pumped to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we could not be more excited. Me and Alexis were talking earlier about how just like the whole concept of your business is just so like fun and interesting to us. Whenever I found your page, I was like, yeah, we need to have her on as a guest.
That was like an immediate yes from both of us.
So
I love to hear that. I do all my own branding and stuff. So like whenever I hear that, I'm like, yes, thank God.
You're killing it with the reels. We're big proponents of reels here, but
we don't do them.
No, we just tell other people to do them and then don't take our own advice.
And then watch them. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so I guess to get started, why don't you tell everybody about yourself, your business, how you got started, how'd you find kind of like the path you wanted to go in, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So the business that I started is called the Mirror Series, and it's really around the essence that your life is a mirror reflection of your internal state and what you believe is possible for you. And when you raise that internal state and you raise your beliefs about your potential, your worth, your self-confidence, and so on, you're able to attract higher level things in your life a lot easier. and you just feel better during the whole process. Because, I, up until, I really started getting into manifestation myself, I just saw it as so future focused. And it's like, what about the now? And I'd love to embrace that mentality of being a mirror, because it helps me embrace those good feelings, those high vibes now, so that not only am I attracting something in the future, but also feeling really good in the moment. So that's kind of the premise of my business. And it started from my own personal journey with mindset. About 4 years ago, I was deeply depressed and really anxious all the time, and really replaying negative thought loops over and over and over again, and so much focus on the negative. And I just thought that's the mindset I was born with, the mindset I have to stick with, right? And then I bought a mindset book just to try and like up the mood a bit. I didn't realize that, it's like, all right, girl,
it's like last ditch effort. You're like, all right, let's just try this. Let's just figure this out. Yeah,
exactly. I saw The Secret once when I was younger, like the movie, because my mom had it. And I'm like, let's just test this out. And then I didn't even realize back then the impact that your mindset could have, like I was talking about, on feeling better, but also changing your external reality. So it was my own self-discovery that turned into a passion project. So when I first started the Mirror series, I was just reposting Pinterest photos onto Instagram, and then writing my own reflections in the captions, reflections I was using for my own healing. And actually all those posts still exist if you scroll back far enough, which I don't recommend, because it was early stages me. But if you are starting a business, maybe it'll hype you up for like the evolution of things. But that's really kind of the process. And I now call myself a mindset and manifestation coach, because manifestation is really the whole goal of like building a life consciously that you're obsessed with, but that comes with mindset work. You're not going to be able to attract your dreams or be happy along the way without working on the mindset piece as well.
Right. So you said, you kind of alluded to this, but the name of your business being a mirror, how did you come up with that, and how does that like reflect what you do?
It's a really good question. So it really started with understanding the concept of what I put out, I'm receiving back. And that helped me really tap into my own personal power, because I was really my first client, because I did the work on myself. And then my first client. And then I posted, like I said, just as a passion project, realized the business potential, now help other women. But like, it really comes down, even when I'm helping other women today, the same way it started, where it's like, what you put out is going to be reflected back to you. And then the more I ingrained myself in that mentality and used that concept to change my life, the more I just started envisioning a mirror, and how, if you're, why do I always attract the same kind of relationships? Why do I always, why am I always stuck in a pattern that, let's say, you don't like, and you're getting this outcome back? It's reflecting back on you something that you could do healing with, or even just like, okay, I'm doing that, I'm attracting that unconsciously. Let me get conscious about it, do a shift, and attract something different. And just this whole, it just kind of like is all I could see after a while, was just the idea of a mirror. And then I named it the Mirror series, because really it's just a series of mirrors reflecting back on you in different areas of your life.
Yeah, I love that.
How did you take like having your own journey with manifestation, and then deciding, what was that kind of switch in that journey to deciding to help others with this?
I think once I realized that we have more power than we give ourselves credit for, I felt like a victim for so long, and I lived in that victim mentality and felt like life was happening to me. And that's part of really what caused so much stress and anxiety, because I felt like I was stuck. And then being on the other side of it, not like now I can say, I'm done my healing. It's always healing in motion. Everything is, and it's kind of fun once you fall in love with the process of like, what else is possible? I always like to ask myself that, and my clients too, like, what else is possible? We made this happen. I now feel this way. Like, what else can I expand into? And then when I felt better, genuinely better, I just knew of so many people that could use the work. And I think it starts in personal life first. We're like, I just want to like preach to you all day, but like
Yeah.
you're my friend, so I can't because I don't want to be that person. And then it's like, oh, I want an outlet to start saying these things that I feel. And that's what's really awesome at the time we're in right now with social media. Of course, there's a lot of, you know, cons to social media, but if you want to start a business, you can start a business for free.
Absolutely.
And it can just kind of evolve into a business, starting with a passion project of my reflections that I was using.
Yeah.
And then evolved into a business because I saw other women starting businesses online and being really successful.
Yeah.
Then discovered the coaching industry.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, hey, you know what? This is interesting. Maybe I'll get a coach. And then I got a coach, and then I learned how to be a coach. And then, you know, here we are.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I'm interested in, I know that especially for the older generation, like if I told my mom, like, you should manifest, she'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean? That sounds crazy. So I guess if we have any listeners like who don't understand manifestation, or maybe I know some people have sour opinions on it, kind of how do you define it and what does it mean to you and like the way that you use it in your coaching and for yourself?
Yeah. So the way I define it is just taking your power back. And there's two, if you approach a situation, you could approach it from a victim mentality of like, this is happening to me and I have no power over it. Like you're giving away your power. Or, you know, how do I feel about this? What would I like to change? How can I change it? It just putting yourself into the driver's seat of your life. And the more you do that, the more you get clear on what you want, because you're asking yourself, even, what do I want? Because you feel like you have that power versus a victim mentality. So for people who like don't really understand, I know like when I talk to people who are a little bit older about manifestation, I relate it to like Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, that book, or The Secret, which is awesome as well. And it's just getting conscious about what you want. And giving yourself a chance to even have it, like not counting yourself out before you even try, because we have these beliefs rooted in us, like, oh, my parents struggled with money, I'm always going to struggle with money, or I always attract this kind of guy. And then you just keep doing it and it doesn't feel good. So why not ask yourself what you want? Why not change these beliefs in a way that makes you feel empowered? You feel like you're the creator of your universe. And that mentality, like I say, like manifest, but it also makes you feel better right now.
And for me, I think it's like a huge part of it is like what you're focusing on is like what you see, like even as far as like, even if you don't believe that manifestation will bring you anything, which I do believe that it does, but it's like what you're paying attention to is what you're going to notice in your day. Like if you go throughout your day and you're like, I'm going to notice every single bad thing that happens, then you will. But if you're having a great day and you're not paying attention to those things, then you won't even think twice about them. So I think that's it. Your mindset. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify in case people are listening and they're like, what on earth are you talking about?
But just even like, if you don't believe in manifestation, which is fine, I'm not pushing a belief on anybody, but if you don't believe in manifestation, you probably believe in goal setting. You probably believe in like you're an athlete you look up to who's like, I worked hard, I always believed it was possible for me, and I showed up in a way that I made it happen. And that's what manifestation is, right? It's like, how can you show up right now that's going to help you get where you want to go and embody that now? So let's say like the athlete is going and training because that's what their next level self would do. They're prioritizing it over other things that are distractions that don't make them feel good, because going and training, let's say, makes them feel good. And then little by little they get there. So like goal setting, if that's how you relate to it, sure. It's really just like backtracking and reverse engineering what you desire and figuring out how you can show up and make it happen.
Love that.
Definitely.
Okay. So how can manifestation benefit business owners specifically? A lot of our audience is small business owners or service providers. So kind of how do you work that into benefiting that section of people specifically?
Yeah, there's a lot of mindset work needed when you start a business, and I'm a business entrepreneur as well. So like, if you don't even believe that you're going to succeed, you're going to really struggle the whole process of building your business, and it's not going to be fun. And you could probably still do it, but like, why would you want to show up every day and do all the things that you want to do if you don't even think it's going to work out?
If you don't believe it's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you won't pitch yourself to, let's say, brands. You won't pitch yourself to podcasts if you don't even think that you're valuable.
Exactly.
So you'll actually hold yourself back from opportunities based on limiting beliefs you might have about yourself and your worth.
Right. I feel like it's a lot about like confidence.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And if you don't feel confident yet in something, it's like, okay, how can I get there? How can I manifest this skill? How can I embrace this? Like, what would my next level self do? The version of me that has the booming business, the version of me who's booked out with clients. How does she show up right now? She probably, goes on her stories. She probably creates regular content. She probably engages really authentically. Builds, okay, perfect. Now I have very actionable steps to show up right now, and it'll help me build my business versus, oh, I'm too scared for this, and I'm going to let that fear keep me in the place that I am.
So I'm curious, like if one of our small business owner listeners were to book a session with you, what would that kind of coaching process look like from your perspective and theirs?
Yeah, I have my 3-month coaching program, which goes really nitty gritty. It's like for the woman who wants to make some massive transformation in her life and really quantum leap towards her goal, which is like collapsing time and making it happen. So figuring out how you can show up for yourself every day, holding you accountable to that, not in a way that's like a drill sergeant, but it's like, what would feel really good for you this week? How could you really get out there and get some exposure? How could you stretch yourself this week? And then also following up and seeing how that goes. Okay, you did it. How did that feel? What did that bring up for you? Those are the kind of things that we do over the 3 months, so that at the end, you've learned some really awesome tools to expand beyond the container and increase self-confidence, increase connection with your intuition to help you rise. And then I have a 60-minute session. So this is like my power hour where I get a lot of information before of what your goals are. And then we jump right into it in the 60 minutes. It's like, I've got some probing questions. We're going to uncover some things, what some blocks are. Cause it's more, the 60-minute is more of like a jolt of energy, like an espresso shot too. It's like, I'm feeling out of whack. I need a little bit I have questions. I don't know if I'm ready for 3 months, but I need some clarity here.
Yeah.
And probing, and we leave that session too with actionable steps to take based on your specific journey and your manifestations, which is huge because there's no one size fits all.
Yeah.
What feels good for you is what you're going to stick to, not what, someone on Instagram says. That's why I like to do like open-ended prompts, like what would feel really good for you today?
Because it's not going to work for everyone, like one simple thing. So do you do like a lot of affirmations that's like morning and night kind of thing for clients?
Yeah, I love affirmations. They're just such a fun way to just like tap you into your power. And especially if you're not feeling that powerful, we all have those days.
Right.
And it's like, I'm highly in demand. My business is scaling. I'm booked out. Things like that just tap you into something, helps you lean into your work for that day in a better energy than like, oh my God, crap. Like I haven't booked anyone in X amount and I'm a failure, right? Like the way you're going to show up that day with that in mind versus like, I'm booked and busy and I'm highly in demand is very different.
Yeah.
So do you think that when you're doing like an affirmation, is that, I guess you said that it's kind of individual, but is that more of like I'm booked out, or is it like I have X amount of clients? Is it supposed to be kind of like a smaller goal, or is it more of like an open-ended statement, or is it something that's out for like 5 years?
You can really do all of the above. It depends on what speaks to you. And I like to work with clients to build affirmations that specifically address their pain points at the moment. So if I have a client who's like, I never feel like I'll get to that level of being booked out, then an affirmation would be like, I'm booked out. Or if it's like, I want to close 2 more clients before the end of the year. It's like, I've got 3 more clients before the end of the year. And it came so easily, right? So really depends what is on your mind, because that's what you want to speak to.
Love that. I think that something that I really love that you mentioned was like how we all have like off days. And I think that that's something that as a business owner is really hard to get caught up in, is like thinking that like, oh, I'm feeling good about my business, like thinking that's going to last forever. Or if you're feeling bad, feeling like that's going to last forever. And I think both are really potentially harmful, because I know I've had plenty of bad days, and then the next day, you never know, could be a great day. So I think like, it's like, I love, doing everything you can to make that day as good as possible. Obviously, like, I think something that, in my experience, a lot of people think, misunderstand about manifestation is that like you're controlling your life, which nobody can control like every single part of their life. But I think it's more just like setting yourself up for the best possible outcome, giving yourself the best possible mindset for that day, so that like no matter what happens, you're not going to be, something a little bit bad goes a little bit wrong, you still know, like you said, you have those tools to and those goals and those actionable steps to work towards to make that day better. Okay, so
on that too, actually, one last thing is I love to teach clients to work with their energy as well, because we're not superhuman, we're not robots or computers, and we have bad days. So if you're having a great day and you're feeling really high vibe and productive, why don't you film some extra content? Why don't you like write some posts and put it in your notes? And then one day you're feeling really crappy and you're like, no. I copy and paste that and I put that in an Instagram post and I fire it off while I'm watching Netflix. Like, go with your energy. And that's how you create a sustainable routine without trying to be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfect.
I love
you have your energy and you want to honor it.
Yeah. We've talked before on the podcast about like when you have low energy days, and talking about like making different routines for yourself. Cause I feel like routine is something that's hard, because one day you might wake up and be like, but having like, your high energy morning routine, your middle energy morning routine, your low energy morning routine. I think that's kind of on the same vein, where like giving yourself options. And I think as a business owner, it can be really hard, because I think in a 9 to 5, you feel like every day, no matter what, like you're still going to go and you're still going to crank everything out and you're still going to whatever. But I think what people forget is like some days when you go to your 9 to 5 or wherever, work, you're not firing at your best.
Oh, that's 100%.
You're not all the time like crazy productive. And I think letting yourself do that as a business owner is hard, because you're your boss, So I think that's a really valuable insight. But what kind of person or business owner do you think would benefit most from like a coaching session, or a coaching series of sessions with you? Kind of like, what pain points do you think, like if somebody's sitting here thinking like, oh, like I might be, interested in this, kind of what are the kind of people that you think would be?
It's really for the person who has big dreams for themselves, wants big things for their business, and knows it's possible, but isn't seeing the results just yet, or seeing results but inconsistently, and wants that accountability to continue to show up, because it's hard. We're our own bosses. We're the only one, motivating ourselves at times. And while there's bad days and we want to honor our energy, it also can be really easy to turn that bad day into like multiple days of moving slow, because no one's telling us we have to do anything. I'm not going to tell you have to do anything either, but there is an accountability piece of someone coming to you or following up in Voxer. I use Voxer chat to talk to my clients in between calls. And it's like, hey, how'd that post go? Or, hey, did you, I saw you went live. Like, do you have any good follow-up conversations or things like that? And it's like, oh yeah, like there's a motivation there to like keep putting your one foot in front of the other. And if you say no, no, I just had a really bad day. It's like, okay, why was it such a bad day? What's going on here? And then maybe there's, a rejection with your business that felt bad. And now you're attaching some personal meaning to that, and you have fear about showing up, and we work through it so that you can show up again the next day, honor your energy. Maybe you take that day and you just fully go in the fields, and then the next day is a fresh day. And there's accountability there of like moving forward. So it's really for the person who's looking for accountability, support, wants to see the big dreams that they have for their business come to life and know how to do it. instead of feeling so lost.
It sounds like small business therapy. It's like business owner therapy.
You should see my Voxer chats. I'm like,
I feel like everyone needs
therapist,
that.
I feel.
Yeah, literally. But I feel like, I definitely feel like, especially like you said, like it started, I think it's something that I meant to mention earlier is like you said, you started your business out of like, you were in a really bad spot and this something helped you. I think that that's where a lot of people's businesses start out of that. What's the saying that like, it's good, it's not this, but like good things grow out of bad times. It's not that, but it's something along the same lines.
Spot on though.
Yeah. But I think, I think that that's something that's really valuable and interesting. Especially if like, you own a business and you're having a really shitty week, who knows what kind of great ideas could come right after that. So it's just kind of like not letting yourself fall into a hole. I think it's really important. I've fallen into many holes, but I've also dug my way out of many holes.
Right. Because you got your mindset back, you figured out what you needed to do and you showed up for yourself and you got out of it. And that's okay. And I think you mentioned like some people think manifestation is about like controlling. And I think there are some people out there that do position it as controlling. And that actually is something I've talked about a few times on my page where it's like, it's not about being perfect.
Exactly.
It's about empowering yourself in your life.
Yeah.
That means taking messy, imperfect action.
Yep.
And then it all kind of adds up together.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's no such thing as perfect. Like,
exactly.
Right.
And I've also wait for perfect to start, you'll never start. Yeah, sorry.
Right. I've also seen the argument, I guess you could say, of like someone like says that because of manifestation, they got this certain car, and someone says, well, manifestation didn't buy you a car. And it's like, okay, well, that's not really like how this is working.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. It gets represented, I think, improperly sometimes. And I could see why people say that, right? But that person who manifested the car was like, okay, I need X amount of savings. Let's reverse engineer.
I need to work for
but
this.
That's not always shown. That's why I love that there's more coaches in the space now. So it's not just the highlight reel. Because I feel like when you're coaching, you're sharing more of like the ins and outs of what really goes down in manifestation. And it's not always high vibe. Sometimes it's clearing some really heavy emotions.
Definitely.
And then that brings something really amazing after that.
Exactly. And I feel like also something that gets ignored a lot is like this, and this happens with any sort of like work on yourself, is like people see like these amazing results, but ignore like the work that goes in. Like, obviously it's not like somebody's going to hire you and you're going to be like, say this 3 times a day, and then you're going to be like super rich. Like, that's not how it works. Like, you obviously have to like do work and be willing. I wouldn't have any
clients if that was what I did.
You'd just be set. But I think like being prepared to do the work, and like you said, having somebody holding you accountable to do it, like that's where it really gets to be powerful, is when you realize that like you're ready to do the work, and then figure out a way to do it that doesn't seem so crazy big and unattainable. I think it's smart goals.
Yeah,
a lot of smart goals.
Exactly. Like if you don't believe in manifestation, maybe think of it in a way of smart goals and goal setting, because either whatever resonates with you is going to help you.
Exactly.
I also love that you said accountability, because while you were talking, before you even said the word accountability, I had that going in my head.
Yeah.
And I think that I think with coaching, it's interesting because I think with manifestation, it's so much about accountability, but then adding that coaching aspect is like giving you an accountability partner, so that like when you can't be accountable for yourself, you can like go in and help like maintain that sense of accountability, which I really like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think for a small business owner, you're oftentimes the only person on your team. So, getting a coach, it allows you to add somebody to your team who, you don't have to trust them to do your work. Cause I know a lot of people have issues with that, but like you have somebody who cares about you and cares about your business, who's like invested in you. Which I think can be super powerful, especially because it can be pretty isolating sometimes to run a business.
Totally. Yeah. Just having the check-ins and stuff makes you feel like you're not kind of moving on your own ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I know we said that, or you said that you don't want to just like give the highlight reel, but let's give a highlight reel.
Yeah. That's all right.
So what are some benefits, I guess, maybe start with yourself, of benefits that you've seen, and then you can move into benefits that clients of yours have seen.
Yeah, for me, I think some of the biggest benefits that I've seen is I'm genuinely happier. Like like I said, I started this journey through like a pretty deep depression. And I'm not going to say that manifestation cures depression. You know, that's still, you know, it's a mental health experience, and it's very personal. But a big part of my depression was not liking anything I had going on in my life at the time. I moved to a city. Well, actually, even before that, I got a job right out of graduation from university at a big brand in corporate. And I thought that was going to be like the best because it's what I should do. Yeah. And I didn't even know if I like read the job description too much. I'm like, it's like the brand, and I'm going to be there, and it's going to be good. And then I moved to a city by myself for that. And then I'm like, oh my God, I don't like this job. I'm here by myself. I was just miserable like all the time. And I felt like I can't quit. I can't move because this is what I should do. And never really asked myself, like, what do I actually want to do? Because when you actually want to do something and you enjoy it, you're always going to try harder.
Yes.
I'll naturally try harder building my own business and do things that if back in that job, I'd be like, oh, it's 5 or oh, it's 3. Do I want to start a new task? Right. So it's like, okay, what do I want? And I think that was the beginning. Well, it was the beginning of my transformation with mindset and manifestation, but real big benefits for me was just a conscious connection with myself and what actually made me happy, what I was actually interested in. And switching my focus from all the things I didn't like, and instead, okay, well, what do I want? Because what you focus on is going to magnify. So I've learned to switch my attention to what I do want, which helps me see more opportunities around that that I can lean into and try. And also the mindset piece of releasing the need to be perfect, releasing the need to do things to impress other people, which is why I was ever in that corporate job in the first place. And just building that connection with self. So for me, that transformation was the biggest. Knowing what I want and switching my focus to the good. Of course, I'm not a robot, like we said, like computers and such. So there are low days, but the mindset piece helps me say, okay, you know, your emotions ebb and flow. This is just not your high vibe day. And that's okay. Your feelings are valid versus, you know, what's wrong with me and all these things.
Why can't I do X, Y, and Z kind of thing?
So for me, that was like a really big change. And for my clients, I've got a range right now. I've got some people looking for relationships. I got someone looking for starting a job.
You've just convinced me,
Katie.
I'm like, hello.
Immediately, Katie's face.
Relationships, starting a business. I have another one who's a professional dancer with auditions and stuff. So it's really all over the place, but it's really applicable to everyone because it's like, let's reverse engineer your goal. What can you do today? Okay, how can you hold yourself accountable, and et cetera, et cetera. But I think commonly with my clients, similar to my own experience, it's just feeling like everything isn't so heavy. Everything isn't so serious. Sure, we want these things, but like, how can we do it? How can we make it happen? And if I do try and I show up, even if it's not 100% perfect, it's going to at least show me what the next step is versus trying to pre-plan everything in your head. It feels so serious and really like intense.
I love that. Okay. Well, to lighten the mood, we will now be getting into our random questions. These random questions are like so dumb. But okay, the first one is, what is your favorite time of the day? And I said before, like, this could be like your favorite hour of the day. It could be like your favorite section of the day as like time, or like what's your, like, you look forward to it all day kind of time of the day.
10 o'clock a.m.
Okay.
I'm not a morning person, but I get myself up and I have my coffee, and by 10 a.m., because I usually like to start work at like 9. Well, I do start work at 9, so I get up sometimes like 8:45.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Journaling is my morning routine, and so I can journal and stuff and still start at work, right? But by 10, coffee's kicked in. I feel really productive. I find like in the afternoon I have like an energy lull that I gotta like recoup myself, but 10, I'm just like firing on all cylinders.
That's a good time. I would say mine would have probably used to have been 10, but since I got my dog, she wakes me up at like 6 a.m. So like now it's like probably like 8:30 or like 8 because it's before I start my part-time job because I start at 9, but I still have been up for long enough that I'm awake. So it's like, I still get to, I get to chill before work, get to do my thing. Yeah. Honestly, I'm loving the longer morning routines, but Alexis, what is your favorite time of the day?
I would say I'm gonna make it really niche. I think on days that I actually get to the gym, which recently has been never.
No, you went yesterday.
Okay, I went
2 days ago.
I went Monday. Yes. Yeah. But a day that I've been to the gym and then I shower and then I come back and then I'd say around like 9 a.m. probably when I start and I like sit down and look at my planner and like open my computer and like get things started. I think like a day where I feel really productive and like ready to, I'd say a high energy day. That is like, high vibes. The vibes are like moving and going 9 a.m. Like
very fresh energy.
At 9 a.m., especially if I've been to the gym. But yeah.
Of course, we're like setting times. You're like, if I go to the gym and then I shower and then it's like cannot be easy. Love it. It's so annoying, Alexis. Just kidding. Okay. Now it is Thanksgiving week for everybody listening to this. For us, it is definitely not, but I got my dog a Thanksgiving bandana today. This is her new Thanksgiving bandana for everybody watching.
Precious.
So cute. She's
love it.
Ooh, I woke her up.
That's dangerous.
Sorry, girl.
Actually, if you see Maria's asleep right there.
Yeah, we got a peek earlier. Literally so cute.
So cute.
Okay, so what is your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Garlic mashed potatoes.
Ooh.
Oh,
it's just so good.
It's a good one.
Choice, cannot go wrong. Alexis, I want you to go second. I would like to.
I will say stuffing. My grandmother's stuffing is it's well, I don't like just stuffing.
I mean, like for me, it like depends. Like it really depends because like some of it's like really not good.
Like, okay, I really hope that Austin's mom doesn't watch the podcast. I love her stuffing, but it's just not my grandma's. Like
spilling the tea.
Yeah, if it's like if I go to anybody else's house for like I like the stuffing, but it's not the same.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah. Mine is my mom makes this hot pineapple casserole and it's like
you've talked about that before.
Yeah. It's like breadcrumbs and pineapple and like pineapple juice and it's just like dessert. It's so good. And then also depending on whose house we go to, sometimes there's oyster dressing, which is that now oyster dressing is very good. I'm from Louisiana, so there's a lot of interesting Thanksgiving foods going on. Like we're having oysters as like a Thanksgiving appetizer this year, like just like raw oysters. But yeah, I love the pineapple casserole. Spinach madeleine also is a great option. I like a lot.
Yep, you've talked about that as well.
Yeah,
I don't even know what a spinach madeleine is.
Spinach madeleine is like the spicy jalapeno Velveeta cheese and spinach and cream all mixed together and then breadcrumbs on top. It is so good. Spinach madeleine,
down with that.
Yeah, spinach madeleine and hot pineapple casserole I think are only my family. I mean, other people have spinach madeleine, but that's like we've always had that at Thanksgiving. That's just me. I'm the only person.
Unique and quirky.
My Thanksgiving is not like everybody else's. Anyway, okay, Alex, do you want to go ahead and plug yourself? Tell everybody if they're like, I need this now. I have to be a part of this. How they can contact you, how they can reach you, if they can follow, where they can follow you, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Instagram DMs is like the best place for me to actually have a conversation because I like love voice noting and stuff like that. Like sometimes someone will send me an email that they'll find, will click through and it's like, like let's chat because then we can like chat a little bit more personally. Yeah. I do have 2 open spots between like now and then one coming up soon that'll open for my private coaching container for my 3-month one. So if that's of interest, you can always send me a message and we can chat through it like a non-pressure chat. Because if it's not a hell yes for you, then it doesn't really make the container as good as it could be. Right.
Yeah.
So I love just kind of like, if it fits for you, like let's chat through it. We can go through details and then kind of go from there. So Instagram DMs, that's the best place to get a good response and we can chat more personally with.
And your Instagram is at the Mirror Series, correct?
That's right. At the Mirror Series.
Perfect. Love that.
And I'm Alex.
Yes. So y'all should slide into her DMs. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Be sure to leave us a rating and review on wherever you listen to your podcasts, and subscribe to keep up with our weekly episodes.
And then follow us on TikTok at Check Your Aesthetic, right? Check Your Aesthetic. Yes. I don't know why I got self-conscious about that was the correct
Yes.
And over on Instagram, Check Your Aesthetic Podcast. That's the one that's different. And our personal accounts, Katie Creative Co., AlexisAdams.co, and at the Mirror Series. And we will talk to you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.